Things in the world. Welcome to the Prophecy Club. You know, most things in the world relate directly or indirectly to Bible prophecy in some way, and especially our topic today. And as a result, Bible prophecy can tell us a lot of things that we would not get otherwise. I mean, as someone that knows prophecy, we are ahead of the newspapers. We are ahead of the curve of where people are going. And so many people have all of these big meetings. Where's the world going to? What's in the future? They never bother to ask anyone that knows Bible prophecy, and they certainly don't read the Bible themselves. Well, today's topic is one of those. Today, we're going to be talking about and answering the question, will artificial intelligence evolve into hybrid intelligence? Artificial intelligence, in other words, are we talking about, is a computer able to become smarter than the computer? Is that computer able to link with some kind of a human in some way? Will that happen? Is it talked about in Bible prophecy? Yes. And then what does Bible prophecy say is going to happen in that regard? You see, when we know Bible prophecy, we know more than the news. We know more than the politicians because we know the Bible. We know the last page. We know how the game ends. All right, headline. Artificial intelligence will evolve into hybrid intelligence, February 13th, 2018. The article says that artificial intelligence will evolve into hybrid intelligence, combining the powers of the human mind and intelligent machines by the year 2035. Well, as a prophecy student, I've got news for them. It's going to be sooner than 2035. We'll talk about that. But first, let's go through the articles. Let's see what the secular people, I hate to say it this way, see what the people that don't know Bible prophecy think is coming. And then we're going to show you what the Bible really does say about it. And yes, it talks about this. Will robots fight the next war? The article says. Headline goes on to say U.S. and Russia bringing artificial intelligence to the battlefield. Okay, so will artificial intelligence one day go to the battlefield? Will there be robots on the battlefield one day? Good question. Would you believe the Bible's got the answer? Let's go on with the article. It says artificial intelligence has increasingly been integrated into the weapons systems of the world's leading militaries. Unlike nuclear weapons that dominated much of the 21st century arms race, between the United States and the Soviet Union, the use of cyber weapons and artificial intelligence largely remained fair game, even as tensions again flared between the rivals. Both countries have invested heavily in developing new tools to wage war on the artificial intelligence battlefield. The U.S. and Russia have decommissioned tens of thousands of nuclear weapons. However, tensions are growing. Any modern-day Cold War would include cyber attacks and nuclear powers' involvement in the Allies' conflicts, wrote this one fella, who was also an associate director of the university's institute, that, in other words, in a position where he ought to know. Next article. And I don't like this article because it's talking about sex robots. And I don't like that whole idea. Okay, that's not God, but there is something in the article that we need to point out, and for that reason, I'll read it. But this whole sex robot thing is not God. God is not pleased with that. But there is, sometimes they say you have to look at the evil to understand what it's doing, and that's kind of what we're doing with this article. So the headline says, sex robots could be hacked to murder people. Elon Musk is convinced that AI is going to kill everyone, and a Google AI managed to create its own AI, which was more powerful than any version a human has ever built. Yeah, it isn't looking good, and we wouldn't bet against Judgment Day for the Terminator movies happening anytime soon. Just when you thought it was advanced computer systems and the military that were out to get us, it turns out that sex robots, the very machines designed to give us pleasure, could be about to kill us. In the future, sex robots could be easier for hackers to access and control than a laptop or a mobile phone. They could be used for all sorts of nefarious means, such as violence and murder. Hackers can hack into a robot and have full control of the connections, arms, legs, other attached tools, and in some cases, knives or wielding devices. Often these robots can be upwards of 200 pounds and very strong. Once a robot is hacked, the hacker has full control and can issue instructions to the robot. The last thing you want is for a hacker to have control over one of these robots, it goes on to say. Once hacked, they could absolutely be used to perform physical reactions for advantageous scenario or to kill. Goes on to say, kind of like smartphones, robots will need an operating system that will need to be connected to the internet, making it hack possible. Headline: U.S. is losing to Russia and China in a war for artificial intelligence, the report says. And this comes out 11/29/17. Russia and China want to revolutionize their forces with weaponized artificial intelligence, a field in which the U.S. risks falling behind, according to a new report. America's two biggest military competitors are rapidly advancing with AI, leaving the U.S. military with the choice of whether it wants to lead the coming revolution or fall victim to it. This stark choice will be determined by the degree to which the Department of Defense recognize the revolutionary military potential of AI and advanced autonomous systems. Russia's military has utilized artificial intelligence in cruise missiles and drones. Russia announced progress last week for its plan to send its gun-wielding final experimental demonstration object research, FEDOR, robot into space. The advanced robot can also drive cars, exercise, and supposedly help bring Russia's spacecraft into orbit by 2020. Russia has also shown off a third-generation infantry battle suit. China has a new cyber focus. His government announced investments of billions of dollars into AI in a bid to outpace the U.S. and Russia. The Chinese startup company took home a $25,000 prize from a face recognition contest hosted this month by the research wing of the U.S.'s own Defense Intelligence Agency. Did you get that? A Chinese company is coming up with advanced face recognition. It goes on to say, China is no longer in a position of technological inferiority, but rather sees itself as close to catching up with and overtaking the United States in AI. As such, the PLA intends to achieve an advantage through changing paradigms in warfare and military innovation, thus seizing the commanding heights of future military competition. The Center for a New American Security wrote in a report Tuesday. While the U.S. military has already excelled in wielding artificial intelligence in some of its most potential and powerful weapons, including the F-35 Lightning Jet II, the reports are that a long-term strategy to boost American development of AI is in the works. Next headline, Minority Report. Artificial intelligence machine can identify 2 billion people in seconds. The company, based in China, developed Dragonfly to scan through millions of photographs that have been logged into the country's national database. This means it has a collection of 1.8 billion photos on file, including visitors to the country and those taken at ports and airports. And it may also have access to the photos of every one of Hong Kong's identity card holders. The cutting-edge technology is now being used to track down criminals, with the early stages of how showing it has been a hugely successful project. Now, let me just interject. We have to understand, as Christians, one of these days, they're going to require everyone to take that mark. And if you don't take the mark, they're going to lop your head off. But they have to find you before they can lop your head off. Why do you think there is so much of a push for all kinds of tracking and monitoring and the cameras over all of the lights and on the highways, all of our driver's licenses all being tracked and monitored, because one day, perhaps one day soon, maybe in the next few years, they're going to say, everybody got a report. You got to take that mark. We find you without that mark, off comes the head. We're going to lift it off. So they got to find you. That's why they want to track you. Let's go on. The cutting-edge technology is now being used to track down criminals, it says. It says it's challenging for the government to police such a large population, and it would be impossible without technology. Even when we have cameras installed, it's a hard task. You can't watch all the videos. Doing the search for a very time-consuming, requires too many resources, too many meaningful results from such a huge amount of data. But artificial intelligence can do it quickly and easily by using existing infrastructure. The future of dragonfly technology doesn't stop at catching criminals. In other words, one of these days it's going to be catching resistors. Resistors to the New World Order, resistors that don't have the mark of the beast. If you're not in the system, it'll find you. Let's go on. The Google brain can pick out these objects with an 82.7% accuracy rate, something the company says is better than any man-made AI system. And the AI breakthrough will have a huge impact on the entire field. Experts have said the findings show automation is the key to creating the most accurate AI systems, meaning artificial intelligence would create more AI. NASNet itself was actually created earlier this year by AutoML, which is an AI system capable of creating more learning programs. Did you catch that? That's a computer that is coming up with and writing better programs than what is running on the computer now. All right, let's tie this to Bible prophecy. Yes, we know. Revelation 13:1, I saw a beast rising up out of the earth. Now, this is the false prophet. Had two horns like a lamb. I'm not going into all of the dissertation on that. I want to get to the point. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and he causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. So this is the false prophet, in my opinion, probably either the Pope or a future Pope, probably the one here. As a matter of fact, Sundar Salvarez says that the Lord told him this is the Pope that will be the false prophet. But let's go on. He doeth great wonders. That's the point I wanted to get to. He doeth great wonders. So is technology going to be used in the future tied to the New World Order, tied to Bible prophecy? Oh, you better know it is. He doeth great wonders. Brothers and sisters, did you hear the word technology in that sentence? I did. He doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven. That's a satellite, or maybe an alien ship, or who knows, maybe some very powerful devil up there. He doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth. So this great wonder, this fire from heaven, is a deception, brothers and sisters. Have to understand the devil is a liar and the author of it. He deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the first beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that's everybody. And I'm going to say this, I believe that you and I, we are both going to hear that. I think there's going to be a time in our lifetimes when we will hear the beast say, everybody got to worship this guy, or actually it'll be the false prophet. We will hear the false prophet say, everybody got to worship the beast. Now, he's not going to call him the beast, but that's what's going to happen. Let's go on. He deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the first beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that's me and you, that they should make an image to the beast. That's it. Did you hear that? Image of the beast? Now, I believe that that's probably a clone. And it'd take me a while to go into that. You've got to tie that back to Daniel. There's a lot of things. That's the miry clay and all that sort of stuff. But probably a clone that it's probably half man, half fallen angel, but it's also probably tied in to every computer on the globe, and it's going to claim that it has infinite wisdom, like God. I mean, that is what the beast says, okay? Make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power, listen to this, he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. So here's another way to say that. He has power to give life into the clone. Got it? Into the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, this clone, this man-made humanoid, half man, half computer, or half man, half devil tied into a computer, and causeth as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Bible prophecy speaking, if we're listening. Now let's go to another one. Bet you hadn't heard this one. Joel 2:3. A fire devoureth before them, behind them a flame burneth. The land is as a garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. You know what that is, brothers and sisters? That's probably an advanced laser weapon. Could be used from a plane, but it's probably used from satellite. Let me read that again. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them is a flame burneth, and the land is as a garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. And the appearance of them, now this is the appearance of the people that come down on horses to attack Israel at the Battle of Armageddon, the very day of the Lord, the day before the judgment starts. The appearance of them is as the horses and as horsemen. Now I got a question. Is that a man sitting on a horse, or is that a half man, half horse? Listen, let me read it again. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses and as horsemen. Is that a hybrid? So shall they run, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains. Bada, 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 bada. Got it? Okay. Chariots on the tops of mountains. They leap. Like the noise of flame of fire, they devour the stubble. As a strong people set in battle array. There's your New World Order army. You want to know what the New World Order army, you want to know what the future army is going to look like? The Bible just told you. Before their face, the people shall be much pained, and all faces shall gather blackness. Why is it that all faces gather blackness? Well, we know that Isaiah 30 verse 26 says the sun gets 7 times hotter. I think that's what it see, because that's what happens 48 hours before Armageddon. Get my new DVD and I'm going to show you that to you. Verse 7, they shall run like mighty men. See, these are hybrids, brothers and sisters. These are clones. These are advanced weapons of war that the Bible calls them men, but are they men? They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall march every one in his ways. In other words, they don't turn on each other. And they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. They don't fight each other. They shall walk every one in his path. In other words, they do as they are programmed to do. These are professional soldiers that are not exactly human. And when they fall on a sword, oh, listen to this one. And when they fall on a sword, they shall not be wounded. Okay, hold it. Time out. How do you fall on a sword and not be wounded? How do you fall on a sword and not be wounded? I only have 2 ways I can think of. Either you got some kind of a coating on you that you fall on the sword, but the sword won't penetrate that coating. Or the sword goes in, you pull the sword out, and you get instant healing. Well, in my opinion, I think it's the latter. Because in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it. They shall desire to die, but death shall flee from them. What's that sound like? Sound to me like they probably took an injection that probably elongated the tumors, if I'm saying that correctly, and give them eternal life. At least that's what they're going to tell people. Oh, take this injection, take the mark, and it'll heal you. Your teeth will grow back in. Your hair will turn its normal color. Your hair will grow back in. If you have cancer, it'll be healed. Take it. Just one problem. There comes a time when they want to die, but they can't die. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb upon the houses. What's that sound like? That's a super soldier. That's a half man, half hybrid, half alien, probably tied into some kind of computer system. They shall enter at the windows like a thief. Oh, Stan, this is something that happened years ago. Oh, really? Well, here's the date stamp. This is going to tell you when this takes place, for those that have ears to hear. The earth, this is the next verse, by the way. The earth shall quake before them. When does that happen? That happens at the return of Jesus. The heavens shall tremble, The sun and the moon shall be dark. When does that happen? That event happens 48 hours before Armageddon. And the stars shall withdraw their shining, and the Lord shall utter his voice. That's the day of trumpets. Before his army, the day of trumpets. Why, that's 10 days before Armageddon. That is in the process of Armageddon. For his camp shall be very great. For he is strong to execute his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? Is AI going to be a part of Bible prophecy? Oh, you better know it is. Nahum 2:1. He that dasheth in pieces is come up before thy face. Keep the munition. What's the word munition? Well, that sounds like ammunition, doesn't it? Let's go. Keep the munition, watch the way, make thy loins strong, fortify thy power mightily. The shield of his mighty men is made red. Ever heard of the Rothschilds? That's not really their name, but from years and years and years way back, they changed their name to Rothschilds. That means red shield. These are the boys that run the world. These are the international bankers. These are the people that run the presidents and the kings and the queens. They make war. They stop war. They finance wars. They determine who's going to win, when there's a war, when there's not a war. Let's read. The shield of his mighty man is made red. The valiant men are in scarlet. The chariots shall be with flaming torches in the day of his preparation. The chariots, listen to this, if this is not a modern highway with cars streaming up and down it, what else could it be? Listen to this. The chariots shall rage in the streets. They shall jostle one against another in the broad ways. They shall seem like torches. They shall run like lightnings. Does that sound like an automobile? Sound me like we're at the races, doesn't it? Let me read it again. The chariots shall rage in the streets. They shall jostle one against another. Sounds like a traffic jam. In the broad ways, they shall seem like torches. In other words, as the fire is coming out of the tailpipe. And they shall run like lightnings. That's Bible prophecy, brothers and sisters. You are living in the last generation. Jesus is returning in our lifetimes. Now let's go to Daniel 2. I don't have time to read all of the verses. I'm going to get right to it. Chapter 2, verse 43. Whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. Here's the part I want you to hear. They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with miry clay. Now, in my opinion, when it says iron is mixed with clay and they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, I think that what is happening, Jesus said, as in the days of Noah, so also shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Okay, well, what was happening in the days of Noah? Well, you go back to the days of Noah, you read Genesis 6, and it says the sons of God came down and mated with the daughters of men, and their offspring were giants, men of old, men of renown. Well, you look up that word, men of old, that word old in the Hebrew, why, that means that they were eternal, meaning that whatever it was, these sons of God came down and mated with the daughters of men, whatever the offspring was, apparently did not inherit the curse that was given to Adam, and these guys were living forever. They were eternal. Was it any reason why God would have to kill everything on earth to get rid of this bad seed? Well, what it's saying here, in the last days, they're going to do it again. They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. I'll read it again. I'm reading this King James Bible. I didn't write it, okay? They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, meaning that doesn't work out so good. And that's the reason. And when he poured out the first vial upon the earth, horrible and malignant sores broke out upon men that had the mark of the beast, and them which worshipped his image. Now that's about 5 days until Jesus returns. The answer of our question today, our broadcast today, was, will artificial intelligence evolve into hybrid intelligence? No question. It's going to be there. And I think that if we could look down in those secret underground facilities, probably they already have it. They're just waiting for the day when it's time to pull it out. I think that the table is set, the plates are in place, all of the knives and forks and spoons, everything is all ready, only it's not for a banquet, it's all ready for the New World Order. The last days are upon us, brothers and sisters. Now, if you want to be a soul winner, then I suggest you get these DVDs. Lots of them. Go to prophecyclub.com. Spend an hour flipping through all of our DVDs. Get yourself informed, brothers and sisters. Why? Because there's going to come a time when people all around you are going to start saying, okay, what is going on? You talk to me about this. What's going on? Can you explain? And you want to give an answer. And when you give the answer, then they say, okay, so what do I do? And you say, I'm so glad you asked that. Give me your hand. Let's pray. You've got to get your name written in the book of life. That's another thing. Do you have the verses down in memory to be able to lead someone to the Lord? Have you held hands and seen the tears rolling down someone's face that you led to the Lord? I'll have to tell you that story. I got a real good story on that one time. But anyway, we've run out of time. But I'm going to say, Prophecy Club, you and I, we're in an agreement, okay? My heart is to get you informed, to be serving the Lord in the days ahead. And your job is to help us to reach more people. We have to work together. I'll help you by bringing you information, and you help me by bringing me the finances to reach more people. So if you like this program, when it comes giving time, remember Prophecy Club. Thank you for listening. And speaking of partnering together, let me remind you that the Watchman's Trumpet will allow you to give free coupons of our recordings, our DVDs, to friends to watch them online. They get saved. It counts towards your book of works because it was done in cooperation with the Prophecy Club. When you donate for Watchman's Trumpet, we will give you 20% extra viewing credits for helping us to finance and create the program. Once Watchman's Trumpet is online, you can set up your account for $1 and get 4 credits, or you can choose much larger blocks of credits. You can immediately begin to watch Prophecy Club DVDs or send out free gift coupons to your friends. The cost of the program is $120,000, and it'll take from 90 to 120 days to write. And it is that time of the month again to come up with at least the $5,000, but we have to have $90,000 before we can go online with it. We'd like to have that online in the next 120 days. So if you want to see Prophecy Club DVDs reach out to the 189 nations around the world via email, then will you help us today? You can go to prophecyclub.com or 785-266-1112. Put it on a card. Thank you for your prayers, and thank you for those gifts of support. God bless. Now from the Prophecy Club, some exciting opportunities for you. I'm going to be the next speaker at the Prophecy Club. Stan Johnson, founder of the Prophecy Club. I'm going to be speaking on 6 hidden rapture verses. Topics are the next anointing of Jesus. No, you probably don't know about this. The 3 best Old Testament, New Testament verses on the rapture. And I'm going to explain hard verses like the dead in Christ rise first and gather you first the tares. God hath not appointed us to wrath. Watch ye therefore and pray always. The rest of the dead. You will know the timing of the rapture when you get done. No charge, 7 p.m. Saturday, March 17th, Spirit of Prophecy Church, corner of Park and K in Plano. See you there. The next speaker at the Prophecy Club is going to be Dr. Bree Keaton. She's going to be speaking on, Is Trump Our Patrick Henry? Bree's mother was a descendant of the patriot Patrick Henry. She's going to show you the never-told story of how President Donald Trump and Patrick Henry have stunning similarities. She will reveal never-released private family records and bloodlines to give you the true history of how God used Patrick Henry to save America. No charge, Spirit of Prophecy Church, corner Park and K in Plano. See you there. Over 150 conferences and 50 debates defending the King James Version gives Adam Johnson the right to tell us what is the best Bible version in his new triple DVD set called King James or 400 Counterfeits, available at prophecyclub.com. Gift of $45. Prophecy